What if being a single father didn't mean struggling alone financially, but instead, it became the very thing that built your family's future because they're dependent on you? Too often, dads are left carrying the weight of bills, responsibility, the uncertainty without a clear plan. Game plan, that is, a financial game plan. But here's the truth. You don't have to just survive. We can thrive. You can lead, create foundation and security for your children and your children's children. All the financial struggles that you're thinking about are no longer existent. Your legacy has started. How do you feel about that? Aren't you tired of having all your money going here, there, and everywhere? And it isn't a cause of I need more money or I have the lack of money, but it's because, and let's be clear, we really don't fail to plan or plan to fail, but we just fail to plan, to be honest with you. Hi, my name is Jacques M. Joseph Jr., and welcome to the Financial Academy podcast. This is season 1, episode 5. And what we talk about here, or who we reach out to, are single fathers. Those who may have been in a situationship, whether it be a one-night stand, a long girlfriend relationship, married, became divorced, or whatever the case is. It doesn't really matter. If you're a single father, this podcast is strictly for you. Now, I'm not looking for criticism. I'm not looking for comments by women who say, I'm both the mom and the dad. This is not for you. This is not the platform for you. I'm talking about those gentlemen, real men who really want to be involved in their children's lives and who have been blocked, put outside. And I'm not even talking about the ones that are being spiteful at that. I'm talking about the ones that have real genuine hearts who really want to be involved and they're going through the ringer for no reason. Again, this podcast is for you. But here we talk about how you as a single father can thrive financially. And so last episode, I talked about how do we build your financial house. You may want to look that up. It's episode 4. But how do we build your financial house? And I broke down the steps on how to build your financial house. Now, today we're going to talk about some of the nitty gritty in certain aspects of how to build within that financial house. Now, normally I would start with the foundation. Of course, everything starts with building the foundation. However, I want to leave the foundation for my very last episode in order for you to understand why everything makes sense and why it should be the very first thing at the bottom. Today, we're going to talk about how building wealth matters and what is it I need to do and understand to build wealth. Now, if you were to look up on the screen right here, when I put up, there's something known as the rule of 72. This is known as the banker's rule. Now, you may have heard of it. You may have not heard of it. I didn't make up this rule. The banking system used this rule in order to build their money quicker and faster. Now, what does it look like? Let's look at what it looks like right here. It's just a simple calculation. Basically, you pick the number 72. Why is it number 72? I don't know. Again, I didn't make the number up, but it's a number that we use. And it makes sense because you want to think about it. Now, the calculation is basically number 72 divided by the interest rate in your bank account currently right now. If you have a credit union or you have one of the big 3 banks, whether it be Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, BB&T, whatever it is, doesn't matter. Ask the personal banker, the customer service rep, whomever they are, what interest rate do I have in my bank account currently right now? is probably less than 1%. Now, if you're anybody like me, less than 1% doesn't mean that you're going to be able to build wealth and take care of your family eventually. This is basically what this calculation tells you. How long will it take for your money to double over a period of time? So if you want to be a quick flipper, and I'm not talking about going out there on the streets, I'm talking about actually doing it the legit way. Investments. See, if you come from where I come from, you hear the word stocks, bonds, whatever the case may be, you may be a little shaky about it. It sounds risky. It sounds gambling. It sounds like it's gambling. However, let's break down what that word really is. Stocks are basically companies. That's all they are. Nothing more, nothing less. Actually, right now, you are a walking stock. If you have on a Gucci belt with Gucci sneakers and a Gucci shirt, or if you're at the baby shower with your Burberry shirt on, that means you're a stock and you're representing whatever company that is for free without getting a dime. But I'm going to get into that though. So back to the rule of 72. The rule of 72 states it's 72 divided by the interest rate in your bank account. That's going to give you the approximate number of years it will take to double up whatever money you put into your savings. So let's think about this, for example, right? You have brother A and you have a brother B. Now, let's say I'm brother A, you're brother B. We both have $10,000, which Ma Dukes or Papa Doc left us. Doesn't matter. I have 10 grand, you have 10 grand. I go to the bank and I say, hey, I'm gonna put my 10 grand in the bank and I'm gonna let it sit here. Now, let's say the bank was generous enough to grant me, brother A, 3%. So if you were to divide 72 divided by 3%, that will equal out to 24 years in order for me to flip that 10 grand into 20 grand. That sounds pretty decent, but let's think about at what age you're at right now, whether you're 18, whether you're 35, whether you're 48, or you're in your 60s. 10 grand to 20 grand isn't going to have you retiring on the yacht, on the golf course, the way that you really want to. Let's be clear about that. However, you, as brother B, you used your common sense. You listened to me. You came on the Financial Academy podcast and you said, hey, this handsome young man right here, he knows exactly what he's talking about. So you looked into it, you started thinking about it, and you said, you know what? I'm going to invest my 10 grand. So now let's pause real quick for a second. I want you to think about this. If you were to ask the question, or I were to pose a question to you, what do wealthy people do with their money? You would say, well, they do a lot. Do they save or do they spend? You would say what? Save. No, they don't save, nor do they spend. They invest their money. They invest their wealth. But what do you and I do? We spend our money or we save our money. And let's be clear. If your parents weren't wealthy or you're not wealthy, you learn money either one of two ways, either from somebody close to you, either a parent, an uncle, grandmother, or you learn it from the streets of hard knocks. And for me, I learned both. See, both my parents are Haitian immigrants. They came from Haiti over here, and their system over there is totally different than the system here in the States. Totally different. And what I saw them struggle through and go through, and then what I thought money was and what I had to go through and put myself in a bad spot, in a bad situation financially, it wasn't working for me. So I had to learn these concepts. I had to learn these principles in order for me to go ahead and build wealth, not only for myself, but for my children. And then for my children's children. Because if I have to be clear, as a firm believer in Jesus Christ, in Proverbs, it says it. A good man leaves behind treasures for his children's children. And I plan on being that good man to my children's children. And I want you to do the same. So now brother B goes and invests his money and says, hey, they're over here giving out, let's say, 6%. So that same 10 grand is being doubled every 12 years. Why? 72 divided by 6 equals 12. So brother A, which is me, I got 3%. It's going to take me 24 years. Now, if I'm 24, that's 24 years leads to 48. And then another 24 years, if I want to reinvest that money, that leads to 60, 64, 65 years old, whatever the case may be. Think about that. So my 10 grand turned to 20, and my 20 grand went to 40. In 48 years, 10 grand went to 40. That's it. Now, if you're smart, the other individual, every 12 years, their money shifted over. So 10 grand in 12 years shifted over to 20. And then another 12 years, 40. And then another 12 years, 80. You see how many doubling periods they have just at 6%? So imagine if you had 12%. You found an investment that was at 12%. And you're probably wondering, where do I find 12%, 15%, 19, 20? It all depends on where the market is at the time. But let's say on average, you find something that's 12%. 72 divided by 12% is every 6 years. Can you imagine? Every 6 years, the money that you invest doubles for you and your child. So let's think about that. That 10 grand that brother B has, you invested 12%. 6 years. So let's say you're 24. In 6 years, you'll be 30. That's 20. Another 6 years, you'll be 36. That's 40. Another 6, you're 42. I want you to keep calculating until you hit the age of so-called the U.S. retirement, which is 65. By that time, you should at least have 1 point something million dollars just sitting there. Do you see how the rule of 72 works? Now, if you don't know the money game and you don't understand the money game, how do you plan on becoming wealthy as a single father, as a man, just period? They normally change the game on you. They normally do. They normally do. However, as a man, I want you to understand the rule of 72 concept. Why? Because it's going to make a difference for you coming up. My name is Jacques M. Joseph Jr. This is the Financial Academy podcast. I will see you on the next one. Make sure you tune into the next one because we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty. I promise you, it gets better and better every time after this. Peace.